Welcome to my apiary. All you can hear is wind and crickets out here. It's September the 1st, 2021. Look at this apiary. Their bee honey here needs to be harvested. I'm a bit late. It's not as bad as it seems because I have harvested quite a bit already from my other yards. I haven't been in the bee yard in a long time. Well, I was here yesterday, but before yesterday, it was a long time. Usually not much happens. You're just putting honey boxes on, letting them grow, letting them make honey, letting them do their thing. But right here, you can't quite see. You can see the first one in a little bit here. These are what I call my Nucs. My Nucs have done really well because my Nucs are in 10 frame equipment. They have blown me away. So the little bit of backstory here, just behind the camera here, is where my mating yard was. I don't know, I might have had 50 Nucs going there. They were chiefly in 4 frame equipment, some in 5 frame. So throughout June, July, I was doing my grafting and using those Nucs as mating Nucs. And I would run more queens through there as I was grafting. I would let a queen mate and see that she was laying, and then I would take her and put her in a requeen a hive or make a split with her or something. And then I put another. Actually, I was introducing virgins in there. I wasn't doing cells, so I could do it pretty fast. Mark them before I put them in there, easy to find. It worked great. So then when I was all done my grafting process for this year, I took all of those Nucs and through a process, I'll actually link that video here, I moved those to another part in the apiary here. Now that's a little tricky because you move a hive from one place to another, you lose a lot of bees. Well, there was a process whereby I was able to do that. It took a few days, but I did it. So I moved those 4 frame Nucs into 6 frame boxes. Here's some. They're scattered everywhere. The apiary's a mess. 6 frame polystyrene boxes for the most part. And they did great. And then they just started to outgrow those. They're just going like crazy. And kind of my problem is, normally I might have just put a queen excluder and a honey box on that and let them make some honey and wintered them in that box. But my expansion has been going so well that running out of equipment, so I couldn't do that. So I decided, well, we'll just move them into 10 frames. And even then I ran out of equipment. I've actually still got some 6 framers over here in wooden boxes, and one of them has honey super on it. So I have to check those, make sure they're not all plugged out. And that's kind of what I'm doing here today. I've been extracting and again running out of equipment. I literally ran out of comb. I literally ran out of brood frames. I was giving these Nucs foundation just as placeholders, really, until I could extract, bring some brood comb out here to the Nucs, so that then I could feed them for winter and they could store up for winter. Well, I came out here yesterday and I started doing this, and what I was doing was taking any frame that did not have brood on it, particularly any frame that wasn't drawn, but I didn't find very many of those. I would take that out, and then I would put back an empty drawn brood frame, so that then the queen could lay, and they would have drawn comb to store up for winter. Because I'm going to start feeding here pretty quick. Well, I was quite surprised, a little freaked out, and very happy to find that these colonies had drawn all of the foundation that I put in there. They had pretty much filled it all with honey and maybe even some brood, bunch of these colonies, these nukes, in that regard. And I harvested 8 deeps of honey out of these brood chambers. Nice honey too, nice frames. So, and I know it's not syrup. They've never had syrup. I know they've never been treated. I know it's clean stuff. You know, it's just honey that they made. They drew this foundation and they made honey. So I'm taking all that honey away. And believe you me, there's lots of honey left over in those boxes. And I hope they winter okay on it. Not supposed to winter on honey in this part of the world, but I don't have much choice right now because there's brood in those frames. I don't want to take the brood out. I guess I could move it over to queen excluder, but boy, it's the 1st of September. I don't know that I have time for that kind of maneuver. So that's what I'm doing, and I'll show you it here. And this is why I'm telling you this whole story. Is I'll show you what I'm doing because I've got a bunch of them left to do. I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 of them or so yet to do. And I don't even remember my numbers. I think I have about 40 of these nukes here. And then here I've got, I don't know, I got a number of escapes left, so I'll set the escapes on these honey producers best I can. Pick the tall ones first, of course, get the best out of my escape. And that's about it. Here's another little situation. These guys, what do you do with this? Now these are different, these are all kind of different place. I'll move to the other side here. Because what these are, is these are nukes with queens that I took out to requeen. And so they were just, you know, my brood producers for the summer. So really they need to be killed and have the brood taken somewhere else. I could maybe put them in these nukes. And disposed of. You know, that one, I actually put that one in that little box. That's a nice little box. I made a whole bunch of those this year. That's what I was using for mating. It's a little 4-frame box. It's got an entrance disc on it, screen bottom, so nicely ventilated. So what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to take that over next to my honey house. So all those bees that end up over there and they have no home, they have nowhere to go, and they're just a nuisance joining in with that little colony. And then what am I going to do with it? I don't know. I'm going to maybe try and winter it. That queen, she's a little bit old, but she seems to be laying really well. And so that's kind of the state of the apiary right now. A little bit frantic here. I've been having a hard time securing sugar. I usually buy bags of sugar to mix up. I find it works well, and it saves me a bit of money. But I need 150 to 180 bags sugar. I'm talking 20 kilogram bags, so that's almost 3 pallets of sugar. And the places that I've called to get it, that I usually get it, they're just kind of saying, no, we're not getting it. We can't get it for you. So, plan B, heading off to the city tomorrow. Got my 2 IBC totes on my trailer, and I'm going to just buy some liquid sucrose for the bees, get them fed, because not only is it time to feed the bees, but it's also that I can't strip all of the honey off without being ready to feed the bees. You know, I have to be ready to feed them within a day or two, tops. I usually try to go with the pails when I strip the honey, because I'm running singles. You run doubles, you got a little bit of slack there. You got that second box, got a lot of honey in it. They're not going to starve out. Whereas now, assuming we don't have a flow, which this summer, who knows? It's been such a weird summer, drought, and then, September 1st they're bringing nectar or something. You can't depend on anything with this weather. So with these singles, I strip all this honey off. They need to be fed. So my method has been, I've developed the method where when I strip the honey, they'll get a pollen patty and a pail of syrup. And that might be it for them. Do some mite testing, in a week or two, and oxalic acid mite treatment in October, after our Thanksgiving. So that's where I'm at. I've been losing sleep over this. Anybody who takes animal husbandry seriously, to think about your animals starving. I get emotional over it. They're depending on me, so I was considering earlier today, if I can't get syrup, I'm going to have to feed them honey. But thankfully I've got syrup, because I would rather have no honey to sell than have my bees starve. That's not right. I don't deserve bees if I let them starve. That's just not right. So I'm looking at this hive over here. I'll take you over. I'll show you this hive. I've been turning these. I've been moving these two pallets. Tip this down. These two pallets, they were way over here, and I'd like to get them out of the way, in over with the rest. So every day or two, of course I got to do it with my tractor, because it's a pallet, right? It's a little too clumsy and everything to move with the tractor. And so I'll give it a quarter turn or an eighth of a turn or something. I want to turn it the other way, and then I want to move it a bit. So every day I'll move it a few feet. I'll just keep moving it until I get it to where I want. So I just gave it a turn, and they're all confused here. They're trying to get in the back door. It's not long enough to figure that out. I'll get it figured out in about an hour. Took me a while to light this smoker. I tried to rush it, and that just is highly counterproductive. Don't let all these boxes fool you. They're not beehives, they're just stacked up here. I need to kind of move them away for storage. Okay. So the principle is the time and care you use to light your smoker has a direct relationship with how long it'll run and how well it'll serve you. Okay, I'm still experimenting with microphone placement, so hopefully this works well. A little bit of pollen coming in there. This summer has been so crazy. Okay. Now this looks really good, but this is less than average population and vigor in these nucs, I'll call them. Kind of silly to call them nucs, but so I stuck a story frame over here. Stuck at the end just so that they could draw it and fill it with syrup for the winter. And some of them drew it, some of them not so much. See, they didn't finish that. So I'll take it away from them, and I'll put a brood comb of some kind in here. So what's this? What I'm doing is I'm just going to move along until I find brood, and then I'll start at the other end. And this is not brood. Shake them down in there. Get most of the bees off. And then after I fill it up again with new comb, then I'll brush the remaining bees off. So what's this? See, I don't remember. There's a few cells of brood there. I don't remember exactly how long ago I put that in there, but that was a foundation frame. Just a black right cell sheet right out of the box placed in there. Yeah, I don't remember the day. It was, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. 3. So there's brood here. So we'll leave that. little bit of brood on the outside of this frame. Oddly, it's on the outside. My chair is sitting in a hole. It's crooked. Grab that with this guy. See, that's half brood, so we're good there. I'm going to take 2 frames out of this one, but this frame is weird. A few little cells of brood. There's no eggs or anything. I'll just turn that around just so the brood is kind of on the side where the nest is, and then I'll fill in these 2 spots. I'm going to change one other little thing that I'm doing here. I'm going to put my empty between this one, because there's very little brood. There's no open brood on that. As long as they keep it warm, which there's enough bees and it's warm enough weather, I'm confident they will. Okay. That's about it, except for these honey frames. My little bee brush here. A lot of those hoverflies, they look like a little wasp or something. And the challenge. Get the bees back in there. Something I regularly forget is just to give the guard bees something to think about while I'm messing with the hive. Okay, this one is also not as far along. Actually, it's not even nearly as far along as the last one. Story frame hasn't been touched, so we will relieve them of that. This is drawn comb. That's fine. And this is fine. They're just not going to yield any honey, and they'll just get a frame of brood comb. What's that frame? Well, that's a honey frame. See, here's something. I don't know how well you could see it, even if I got it close. There's something that to me is very, it's very obvious here. There's capped honey here, and all of the open cells are empty. So that tells me they've been eating the feed back. If they were storing feed, if they're actively storing honey, the open cells would have nectar or uncured honey in those cells. But they'll, they're thrifty, so they eat that first. So that one is got some pollen in it. That's good. See that next one. Next one is brood, so that's good. And we just need two drawn frames for that hive. Just sweep these off. They don't like this, but I don't think it hurts them. And these frames, I call these frames stickies, and there's a reason for that. They are sticky. Sticky and slimy. I extracted them about 2 hours ago. So I think the bees will appreciate that, the feed value in that. So hopefully that queen keeps laying, and they're going to get ready for a long winter. You see the R3 FA21, 21 queen, R3, R7. I feel kind of stupid about that. I was careful to mark the hives, keep track of which round of grafting that was. But I kept no other notes, so that data is kind of, data in a vacuum is not very useful. Oh well. I guess one thing about taking notes is, you got to learn too what's important. And maybe next year I'll take some notes that are actually meaningful. Those notes were useful when they were on the Nucs, because it would tell me when that queen should mate, etc. When I can take her, when I can reuse that all that kind of stuff. That's a heavy honey frame there. I think that was a foundation they drew too, and you might be saying, "Oh, this is not capped. You can't take that honey." Well, you're kind of right. The only reason I'm comfortable, there's like 4 brood cells on there. Huh. That's crazy. The reason I'm comfortable taking that, even though it's not capped, is this year, I don't know if there's a correlation, but I think there might be. It's been so dry here that all of the honey is testing 16.5%. And even if that open honey is a little bit moist, when it blends, it'll work out just fine. And the key with this maneuver, taking this honey, that's definitely a bonus. You can always use more crop. But the key here is to free up these frames for that queen to lay that winter nest. Yeah, that's a bird there. Okay. So I'm taking 3 out of this one. I'm taking 4 out of this one. A commercial beekeeper, and I'm brushing bees off of honey frames. Gosh. Just because I got myself in a situation. Okay. So you may be wondering, how do I decide where to insert the empties in the hive? Well, it's kind of a judgment call based on what do I want to accomplish, what do I think the colony is capable of, time of year. See, this frame has 4 cells of cap brood, not a considerable amount, so I'm going to put an empty between it and the rest of the nest. If it was the 1st of July Oh, it's a big bald-faced hornet. I just about got her. I may put these empties right in the middle, which my mentor really wags his finger at me when I do that. But I believe, and in my experience, if you're careful, it works really well. Frees up space in the middle of the nest. That queen jumps on that frame and starts to lay like crazy. Okay, get a couple more honey frames to sweep off here. This one is also lagging. Well, yesterday the colonies were just polluted with bees. Today I make the video, colonies don't look so good. They look okay. They sure looked good yesterday. Nest isn't even that big. This is a good opportunity too. You know, yesterday I went through one of them, no brood. So they got shaken out. No brood, no queen, right? It's kind of the rule. So this one's not overburdened with brood, but I see some here. Sometimes, you know, you go quite a ways in this way and you think, oh no, but then she's laid all the way to the back wall, which not really the case in this hive. It's a bit lacking, to be honest. Okay, that's full of brood. We got 4 frames there. Wow. I need 6 frames of empties for this one. Okay. 3 on each side. See, in this case, this colony is got the groove on, but they're a little weaker. So I'm not going to bust up that nest. Population's a little bit lower. They don't have quite as much brood going on. Just hope they winter well. I'd bring my comb closer, but with them being sticky, they're robbing it quite a bit, so I don't want it over here right next to the hive. Once they zero in on something that they like, they tell 2 friends, and then they tell 2 friends, so on and so on. Okay. Now these, I could do this today, I suppose, but these will be getting pollen patties. When I put that pail on, they'll be getting the pollen patties. I'm not worried about their pollen source right now, because I am seeing stored pollen in the hive, and I'm actually seeing some at the entrance. So I think we're in good shape that way. Well, this one's locked down good. You can kind of tell a good colony when it's hard to take the lid off. Yeah, I got all this comb. You know, they've been wanting space, you know. I kind of dropped the ball, I think. I was sort of feeling that the drought had taken everything away. And I think in a lot of places it did. And I think for a lot of the time it did. But whatever it was, kind of started up again. That's what these frame grabbers are good for, is when you got a frame that's just jammed right in there. See, this is all plugged out. Perfectly plugged out. Oh, broke the side off of that other frame. Not what you want. So that second one is plugged out. I'll bet you the end one is Pretty much guaranteed. Get heavy. Oh, no, don't sting the legs, don't sting the legs, don't sting the legs. No. Not what you want to do at all. Doesn't benefit anybody. Doesn't benefit anybody. To be honest with you, I've gotten pretty apprehensive. I don't know if I would go so far as afraid, but maybe you could say afraid. Very apprehensive to work bees later in the season because they get so mean. They get so crazy. They get so crazy. Warm enough day. I think it's 20, what was I gonna say, high of 26 C here today. Just nice warm day, beautiful day. It's not super hot, very hot this summer, so it's nice to have a day. It's not just roasting. Okay, I think the next one will have brood. Come on, show me what you got. I don't know about there, but I'm sure it has brood inside here. Yeah, there's a bunch of brood there. Okay, so there's 5. So I'll need 5 empties. They don't have enough comb. They don't have anywhere to go. They climb on the sides and whatnot. I really don't like mashing bees. I know what happens. And I gotta get the job done. But I don't like mashing bees. Okay. Alright. There we go. Nothing going on at the entrance there. Let's see what's going on inside. Something going on. Drop frames. Okay, there's brood on the next one. That one's clear. This one's mostly empty. I just put that back in. Okay, there's brood there. This one I'll stick back in here. 8 on at the end. So I found a story frame that I had extracted. And so I'm going to put that right in here at the end. Boy, you want a sting that hurts. Get stung in the palm. There's a lot of nerve endings there. Holy smokes, does that ever hurt? I haven't been stung there today, but